Are you ready to witness the Toronto Maple Leafs make a move so audacious, so utterly now or never, that it sends shockwaves to the entire league? Because if the latest whispers are true, Brad Treliving isn't just looking to fill a void left by Mitch Marner. He's preparing to detonate a blockbuster, a high-stakes gamble that could redefine this team's immediate future. The question isn't if the Leafs need to replace Marner's offensive wizardry. It's how far they're willing to go and what sacred cows they're prepared to butcher to get it done. Is the pursuit of a Stanley Cup so intoxicating that the future becomes a mere footnote in the grand, desperate narrative of winning today? For weeks, the air around Leaf Nation has been thick with speculation, a palpable tension as fans grapple with the reality of a post-Marner era. While general manager Brad Treliving has been busy, diligently adding depth pieces like Matthias Maxelli, Nicholas Roy, Dakota Joshua, and Michael Pezzetta, and wisely retaining talents such as Nick Robertson and Stephen Lawrence, there's an undeniable, gnawing feeling that something crucial is still missing. These are solid, foundational moves, certainly shoring up the roster and injecting a much-needed dose of grit and versatility. But let's be honest, none of these acquisitions individually, or even collectively, replace the sheer offensive output and playmaking genius that Marner brought to the table. The identity shift Treliving is orchestrating is clear. A tougher, more resilient, harder to play against team. Yet, without a significant infusion of top six scoring, that identity risks becoming one of admirable effort, but ultimately familiar disappointment. This is where the plot thickens, where the whispers turn into a roar, courtesy of a bold proposition floated by a heavy-to-calm and echoed across the hockey landscape. The suggestion that the Maple Leafs should go all in, push their chips to the center, and acquire a veteran winger who could provide an immediate, undeniable impact. And the target? None other than Teuvo Teravainen, the skilled forward from the Chicago Blackhawks, a former Stanley Cup champion with a pedigree for offensive production. Now, before you scoff at the price, let's dissect this proposed trade package, because it's a doozy. The article suggests Toronto would need to part with Nick Robertson, Kaye Jarnkrok, and their 2024 first-round pick, Ben Danford, to pry Teravainen away from the Windy City. At first glance, that might seem like an overpayment for a player who, while talented, isn't necessarily considered a perennial superstar. Robertson, a former first-round pick himself, has long been touted as a future top-six forward for the Leafs, a player whose blistering shot and offensive instincts have teased fans for years. Jarnkrok is a versatile, reliable two-way forward, capable of playing center or wing and a valuable penalty killer. And Danford, a recent first-round selection, represents the future, a promising defensive prospect with significant upside. To give up all three for a single player, even one of Teravainen's caliber, feels like a monumental decision, a true fork in the road for the franchise. But let's peel back the layers and understand the rationale, because it's rooted in the stark reality of Toronto's current window. The central piece of this proposed deal, Ben Danford, is undeniably a talented prospect. He's currently navigating the intricate development path of a young defenseman, still several years away from making a consistent impact at the NHL level. The Toronto Maple Leafs, however, are not built for the future. They are built to win now. The core is in its prime. The expectations are sky high, and the patience of the fan base is wearing thinner than a well-worn jersey. The Blackhawks, on the other hand, are in a different stage of their organizational cycle. They are rebuilding, accumulating assets, and have the luxury of time to let prospects like Danford mature. For them, a future first-round pick and promising young talent are precisely what they need. For the Leafs, a bird in the hand, especially one that can contribute immediately to a championship push, is worth two in the bush. Then there's Nick Robertson. His journey with the Leafs has been a tumultuous one, marked by flashes of brilliance interspersed with frustrating injuries and a struggle to consistently secure a top-six role. A change of scenery, particularly to a team like Chicago, where he could immediately step into a more prominent offensive role and receive significant minutes, could be precisely what he needs to unlock his full potential. It offers him a chance to thrive, to truly find his footing in the NHL without the immense pressure cooker of Toronto. And Kaye Jarnkrok, he's a valuable depth piece, a versatile third or fourth line center who can mentor younger players. While losing his steady presence would sting, the trade-off, in theory, is a direct upgrade in top-end offensive skill. Last season, Teravainen put up a respectable 58 points in 82 games, tallying 15 goals and 43 assists. These are solid numbers, indicative of a player who can consistently contribute offensively. However, his plus-minus rating of -23 is a glaring red flag for some, suggesting potential defensive liabilities or simply a reflection of playing on a struggling Blackhawks team. Context is crucial here. On a more structured, defensively sound team like the Maple Leafs, surrounded by elite talent, those numbers could easily improve. Imagine Teravainen slotting directly onto the second line, alongside the dynamic duo of John Tavares and William Nylander. With Max Domi likely anchoring the first line, Teravainen's playmaking ability and offensive instincts could provide a much-needed spark, creating more space and opportunities for Tavares and Nylander to operate. This move also has a ripple effect down the lineup. It would alleviate some of the pressure on players like Bobby McMahon, who has shown flashes of brilliance but might benefit from a slightly less demanding role, allowing him to develop more naturally without the intense scrutiny that comes with being a primary offensive contributor. Of course, the financial implications are always a factor in Toronto. Teravainen carries a cap hit of $5.4 million, which means the Maple Leafs would almost certainly need Chicago to retain a portion of the salary, or perhaps involve a third team to facilitate the deal. This isn't an insurmountable hurdle, but it adds another layer of complexity to an already intricate negotiation. The emotional attachment of players like Robertson, who has battled so hard in Danford, who represents a promise of tomorrow, is very real for fans and management alike. Brad Treliving would undoubtedly be reluctant to part with such assets. Danford, in particular, possesses significant potential, and trading away a high-upside prospect is always a gamble. But this is where the win-now mentality truly comes into play. The window for this Maple Leafs core is open, but it's not infinite. Every season that passes without significant playoff success increases the pressure, the scrutiny, and the desperation. This isn't just a trade proposal. It's a philosophical statement. It's Treliving staring down the barrel of another season, another opportunity, and asking himself, are we truly doing everything we can to win the Stanley Cup right now? If this deal were to materialize, it would signal an unequivocal yes. It would be a bold, decisive move, sacrificing future potential for immediate impact and injecting a proven, cup-winning veteran into a lineup desperate for that final championship-caliber piece. The perfect piece, as the article suggests, might just be waiting. The question for Higger and all of Leaf Nation remains. Is this the move that finally tips the scales? So, what do you think, Leaf Nation? Is Teuvo Teravainen the missing link? Is the proposed price, Robertson, Jarnkrok, and Ben Danford, a fair one for a team that needs to win now? Or are the Leafs risking too much of their future for a player who might not be the ultimate answer? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're ready for some blockbuster action, and subscribe for all the latest Toronto Maple Leafs news and analysis. We want to hear your passionate takes on this potential game changer.